The mega playoffs began last evening, and what a spectacular show we witnessed yesterday. Chennai with a last over win and the finishing shot by Mahindra Singh Dhoni. It cannot get any bigger, it cannot get any better for any cricket fan across the world. And today it is the Eliminator. It's Kolkata, it's Bangalore. One team will go home today. It's a do or die game. Hello and welcome to the Huddle. I'm your host Sarthak, and I'm joined in the studio by Cricfit editor Mr. Mikhail Vaswani. Good evening, Mikhail. Great to have you back. How excited are you for this big game today?
Hi Sarthak, good evening. Good evening to all our viewers on Cricfit on the MPL platform. आप सबका स्वागत है. आज एक टीम घर जाने वाली है और एक टीम रहने वाली है. कहते हैं सार्थक जो डर गया वो घर गया. तो आज no two teams, Bangalore and Kolkata have really. Bangalore has looked very impressive, but Kolkata has been resurgent. What an outing today. What an outing tonight. Can't wait for it. जल्दी से टीम बनाओ एमपीएल के. अपने फैंटेसी टीम बना लीजिए. आज धमाकेदार कॉन्टेस्ट होने वाला है साथ तक.
बिल्कुल बिल्कुल जल्दी से सारे व्यूअर्स एमपीएल की वेबसाइट पर चले जाइए या एमपीएल के ऐप को डाउनलोड कर दीजिए. यू कैन विन सम रियली गुड प्राइजेस. प्ले रिस्पॉन्सिबली. आप देख सकते हैं विराट कोहली आपको चीयर ऑन कर रहे हैं, तो जल्द से जल्द अपनी फैंटेसी 11 टीम्स बना लीजिए. आज मुकाबला बहुत ही तगड़ा है. कोलकाता बैंगलोर, एक टीम आज घर जाने वाली है मिखाइल. एंड आप जिस तरह से बोल रहे थे, कोलकाता हैज बीन रिसर्जेंट एंड उसी पर थोड़ा और हम चर्चा करते हैं मिखाइल. कोलकाता in the first phase of the Indian T20 League had lost 5 games and had won just 2. And in this phase of the UAE leg, they have won 5 and lost 2. So they've just turned it around for themselves, which is phenomenal to see. You know how well they've grown in their performance in this phase of the league.
Yeah, and it's why it is a good sign is because देखिए in recent games, if I'm not wrong, Andre Russell was unfit. Shakib आया, Shakib ने perform किया. तो देखा जाए तो they are peaking at the right time and they have struck form at the right time at the business end towards the playoffs. And एक habit बना दिया इन्होंने to win matches from the dead as well. I just feel Kolkata has shown a lot of character, Sarthak, lot of character.
Absolutely. I mean, from the way we saw them perform in the first phase to the turnaround, that is fantastic. And speaking of Bangalore, Kohli has been known to experiment with his side. Do you think Mikhail वो कुछ ज़्यादा changes आज करेंगे अपनी side में?
I feel ideally Kohli should not be doing much of tinkering right now. He's found that combination. They're responding well. That wicketkeeper Bharat, oh my God, he turned out to be a revelation. Just like how why I like both these sides today. देखिए उधर अय्यर परफॉर्म कर रहा है उनके लिए ऊपर में और इधर एक और भरत परफॉर्म कर रहे हैं. तो व्हाट इज आईपीएल आज की तारीख में? आईपीएल इज अपने आप इंडियन के प्लेयर्स को ऐसे यंग इंडियन प्लेयर्स को ऐसे परफॉर्म करते हुए देख रहे हैं तो एक अलग सा एक मजा आ रहा है. एंड आई जस्ट फील देखिए जब कोई भी अगर एक एमपीएल टीम बना रहा है तो इन यंग खिलाड़ियों को प्लीज नजरअंदाज मत कीजिए और अपनी टीम में डाल दीजिए. Sarthak, Bangalore should not experiment too much. They are looking good. I want to see a Bangalore Chennai final. यार मजा आ जाएगा.
बिल्कुल बिल्कुल. और कोहली की थोड़ी और बात करें मिखाइल, तो यूएई लेग में हमने देखा he sort of struggled with spin. He's faced 47 balls of spin, has scored only 42 runs. Somewhat unlikely for Kohli.
देखिए एक दो क्रिकेटरों की हम लोग बात करेंगे जिनके लिए मैं स्टैट्स कभी I will never bring statistics into their discussions. One is Mahindra Singh Dhoni, one is Virat Kohli. I will never look at stats when I talk about these gentlemen. मैं उनको हमेशा अपने ही गेम में छोड़ दूंगा. आपको जो करना है कीजिए. Because at the end of the day, we have to look at many things, Sarthak. In context to the match that they have come into, the situation. Kohli has never had a problem playing spin. So though these numbers do reveal a story, you would want to believe that Dhoni is a kind of a Kohli is a kind of a batsman who can change these stats in a matter of a match as well, Sarthak. That is my impression of looking at things.
Bilkul, bilkul. I mean, the kind of performances they've delivered through the years, these are absolute legends, Kohli and Dhoni. And this will be the first instance of Bangalore playing Kolkata in the knockout stage of all seasons of the Indian T20 League. So this is new to both of them, the knockout game, which is great. I mean, it'll bring out all the more excitement for all the fans out there.
Oh yes. It's a great contest. So Chahal, I would like to talk about Chahal. You know how crucial he's going to be
जी
इस मुकाबले में. कह रहे कि पिच बहुत अच्छा है तो हाई स्कोरिंग गेम होने वाला है. 170 also can be chased बता रहे हैं. तो इट इज गोइंग टू बी एन इवन कॉन्टेस्ट. थोड़ा मूवमेंट भी मिलेगा. तो ये इट कुड बी अ बैट्समैन डोमिनेटेड कॉन्टेस्ट ओवर हियर सार्थक. और दोनों दोनों टीम्स में देखिए, हम वी आर टॉकिंग अबाउट टू टीम्स दैट हैव क्रेजी बैट्समैन. रसल वापस आ गया तो वाओ. डिविलियर्स है, बिग शो है, अय्यर है ऊपर उनके लिए, कोलकाता के लिए. व्हाट्स द यंगस्टर्स नेम? आई कीप फॉरगेटिंग दैट यंगस्टर्स नेम. That prolific left-handed batsman who's made run scoring so easy. Venkatesh Iyer.
जी जी
वेंकटेश
जी
अय्यर है. तो राहुल त्रिपाठी, मॉर्गन थोड़ा मेरे को डल लग रहे हैं. तो सार्थक, दिस इज गोइंग टू बी वन रन फेस्ट ओवर हियर.
बिल्कुल बिल्कुल. बट कहीं ना कहीं हमने मिखाइल ये भी देखा कि शारजा की पिच थोड़ा स्लो प्ले आउट करी. तो डू यू थिंक इट विल असिस्ट द स्पिनर्स टुडे टू? मतलब कि आपको लग रहा है ये बैट्समैन को ज्यादा फेवर में जाएगी?
देखिए, देखा जाए तो ये great. I'm not too sure if this is going to be a sluggish pitch over here. Point number one. I
जी
just feel this is going to be a different pitch on offer, and not the typical Sharjah wicket, because apparently it has a little bit of shine, and it could just be a little hard for the batsman to play through the line. Sarthak. तो ये वो
जी
बैटिंग विकेट होनी होनी हो सकती है. रिपोर्ट्स आ रहे हैं. मैं ऑफ कोर्स विकेट देखा नहीं है मैंने, but whatever I've read about the wicket on offer today, there is runs in the pitch, they say.
Bilkul. And you know, last evening we saw Ashwin bowling. We didn't see that kind of peak from Ashwin, and Ashwin is in the World Cup squad. Aj Chahal will be watched very closely by the selectors, given the World Cup starts in just about a week. You know, we are inching closer. So, how much do you think this game plays a significance to Chahal's making it back to the Indian T20 World Cup squad?
देखिए, good question that you've asked, Sarthak, but I feel in the second phase of the Indian T20 League, Yuzvendra Chahal has done decent enough to once again remind or knock on the selection doors. It'll be also interesting to know the statistics of Rahul Chahar in the second phase of the Indian T20 League. I haven't heard of him making as much of an impact as much as Chahal has made for Bangalore. And if you look at it today, Bangalore is in the playoffs. Mumbai is not in the playoffs. I'm not saying because Chahal didn't perform and Chahal performed, but I got to hear more of चहल ने अच्छी बॉलिंग डाली यार. चहल ने 3 विकेट लिए. मुझे वो चहर के बारे में सुना ही नहीं दिया ये बार सेकंड फेज ऑफ
जी
T20 लीग. मेरा ये मानना है कि भले ये मैच बैंगलोर जीते नहीं जीते, लेकिन यहां तक पहुंचने के लिए चहल ने एक बहुत ही अहम रोल निभाया है अपनी टीम के लिए, और सिलेक्टर्स के दौर दौर पे एक दस्तक भी किया.
बिल्कुल बिल्कुल. और इसी के साथ जो भी दर्शक जुड़ रहे हैं, हम जल्द से जल्द आपको दीपदास गुप्ता की फैंटेसी 11 दिखा देते हैं. यू कैन गो ऑन द एमपीएल ऐप एंड फॉर्म योर फैंटेसी 11 टीम्स. हियर्स दीपदास गुप्ता's fantasy 11. Bharat, who's been absolutely fantastic for Bangalore. He's the wicket keeper here. Batsman, we just spoke about Venkatesh Iyer. उनको ऑलराउंडर के तौर पर भी हमें गिनना होगा because he's done well with the ball too. Batsman में त्रिपाठी है, गिल है, पडिक्कल. वो just been fantastic. Captain है मैक्सवेल, चक्रवर्ती, मावी, फर्गसन, पटेल वाइस कैप्टन, जिन्होंने वो ब्रिलियंट हैट्रिक लेके सबको चौंका दिया. और चहल तो है ही, जिनके बारे में अभी हम चर्चा कर रहे थे. He's been taking wickets consistently. So very solid fantasy 11 taken here by Deep. Mikhail, your views on this?
Padikkal is one very interesting inclusion that Deep has made, but I would trust Deep's decision over here because I'm sure Padikkal is someone who is like the star of the Bangalore team. Virat Kohli missing out, Sarthak?
Very surprising, highly surprising. I just don't know why such a big
But then again, see,
yeah,
Deepdas Gupta is not an emotional team picker. He's more of a practical performance picker. You don't even have a De Villiers, and today he's gone in with
exactly.
Maxwell because Maxwell is getting the runs. देखिए, Bharat, Tripathi, Iyer, Gill, Maxwell are all performers from the last outing. Mavi was super fast in the last game. He got some good wickets as well. Chakravarti, you can't keep him out. Harshal Patel, performer. Lockie Ferguson, very good pick again. He can generate a lot of pace. देखो, bowling में all top bowlers को उन्होंने लिया जो perform कर रहे हैं. बैटिंग में गिल और पडिक्कल को लेके कभी कभी मैं थोड़ा सोचता हूँ कि गिल टेक्स टाइम टू स्टार्ट ऑफ, बट इफ यू लुक एट दिस वेरी इंटरेस्टिंग टॉप 3 is Gill opening with Iyer, number 3 Tripathi. So
जी
and here also Bangalore said top 3 you have apna Padikkal, Bharat, Maxwell of course comes at number 5. But again, a very good playing 11. Just a quick reminder to all our fans as well that they have a great chance of winning some great prizes and goodies. All they need to do is just download the MPL app, or for that matter, log on to the MPL website, open your account, register your team, and start playing MPL so that you could win yourself some great goodies. Like Sarthak, after taking my piece of advice now, I believe he's become an MPL guru. Right, Sarthak?
शुरुआत जी जी आपकी आपकी एडवाइस मैंने यूज की है और इट्स प्रीटी एक्साइटिंग द काइंड ऑफ टीम आई मेड आई एम लुकिंग फॉरवर्ड टू टुडेस गेम मतलब फैंटेसी 11 इज a fun game altogether. And Mikhail, speaking of the Fantasy 11 by Deepdas Gupta, you see he's gone a little spinner heavy also. Chakravarti, Chahal और हर्षल ब्रिलियंट स्पिनर्स. तो आपको क्या लगता है स्पिन को आज मतलब एवरेज स्कोर हमें नजर आ रही है 137 की बन रही है.
Sarthak, I like the way you mentioned Harshal Patel also in the same breath, because he bowls a lot of off cutters and slow ones. But of course, when you talk about spin heavy, we need to also understand that the two inclusions that have been made, Varun Chakravarti and Chahal, they have performed exceedingly well for both their sides. And Chahal Harshal Patel, keeping in mind that he's taken 30 wickets, largely depending on the variations, maybe comes into the same breadth of spinners, but he's been equally effective with his pace and mind that he's brought in. So yes, it is a side that has Lockie Ferguson, Harshal Patel, Chakravarti, and Chahal. And I'm very happy with the introduction of both these spinners because they can be very impactful. They both are match winners by themselves.
बिल्कुल. और एक बहुत बड़ी न्यूज आ रही है. बैंगलोर ने टॉस जीतकर बैटिंग करने का फैसला किया है मिखाइल. सो अ बिग बोल्ड मूव बाय कोहली. इज लुकिंग टू सेट अ बिग टारगेट देयर.
यस, गुड टॉस टू विन. देखिए, प्रेशर गेम में एलिमिनेटर है, यू डोंट वांट टू चेज. मैं तो यही मानता हूं कि बड़े गेम में बस बैटिंग करो, रन्स बनाओ, क्योंकि रन्स है इस विकेट में. क्या
जी
पता आगे जाके पिच थोड़ा कुछ मतलब it could just change a little bit of nature and it could just help the spinners. You just want to bat first on a good surface. And we'll also take a look at the side as well. I would want to believe that this Bangalore side looks great right now at the moment. Kohli has taken time to get this. देखिए, Padikkal Kohli, what a combination. Bharat, what a player. He's like, stood out and come of age now, and everybody is saying that he is now the next contender to ring bells and the doors of the selectors. Maxwell in top form, De Villiers kabhi bhi form strike kar sakte हैं. Shahbaz Ahmed, another bright spot, shining star in Bangalore. देखिए, डैन क्रिस्टियन पता नहीं इस टीम में कैसे अपनी जगह बना पाते हैं, मैं समझ नहीं पा रहा. गैल्टन भी है, हर्षल पटेल, सिराज थोड़े शांत हो गए, और चहल भी है. तो वेरी गुड साइड.
बिल्कुल. और एबीडी की आप बात कर रहे थे, कभी भी फॉर्म में आ सकते हैं. क्या लगता है आपको मिखाइल, उनको और जल्दी भेजें तो इट कुड हेल्प देम मोर, कमिंग इन एट 3 or 4 फॉर एन एबीडी.
देखिए, एबी डिविलियर्स इज मर्क्यूरियल, जो मैं हमेशा बोलता हूँ, एक वर्ड हमेशा उनके लिए आता है. आई वुड ऑलवेज वांट टू सी हिम बैट अ लिटिल अप द ऑर्डर, but again he is a batsman who likes the last 5 to 7 overs. He's more suited to that. And knowing that today Bangalore has a very good depth in their batting, they can always be a little experimental with his batting position. I feel he's one batsman who can be padded up, because if you want quick runs, you can get it out of him. So we look at the Kolkata side as well. Venkatesh Iyer, Gill, Rana, Tripathi, Morgan, इनकी तो बैटिंग खत्म ही नहीं होती. सुनील नारायण तक जा रहा है, मावी भी थोड़ा बैटिंग कर लेता है, फर्ग्यूसन, अनदर वेरी गुड टीम. सार्थक, इट्स गोइंग टू बी अ लाइक टू लाइक कॉन्टेस्ट टुडे.
बिल्कुल बिल्कुल. I see this going down to the wire. So all our viewers, you have very little time left to form your fantasy 11 teams. This one's going to be an absolute blast. And मिखाइल, हमें बहुत बड़ी न्यूज ये मिल रही है कि रसल आज नहीं खेल रहे. So is this something we were anticipating? Were you
Yes,
expecting
any
this?
which ways he was injured. Shakib Al Hassan
जी
had replaced him, and once again, if you look at this side of theirs, uh, what I'm seeing is that Hassan continues to be in the side because unfortunately Russell is injured and won't be participating in this game. And you have to give Deepdas Gupta credit again over here. While selecting the team, he had in mind that Russell may be injured, because for an MPL fantasy team, if you don't have a Russell, it could come as a surprise. But knowing that he has injuries, he could miss out. You've got to keep him out, and that's why he's not included him in his side as well. He has uh, all-rounders में Iyer and Maxwell, which is a very, very good pick once again. Slightly tilted in favor of Kolkata to Bangalore, 6-5. But just a reminder that Kolkata as well, who will be bowling first, have an equally solid side, a well-rounded side across all departments. Yeah.
जी मिकाइल, और यहीं पर हमें काफी सवाल आ रहे हैं हमारे व्यूअर्स से। मैं एक सवाल लेना चाहूंगा यहाँ पे। दिस इज अ क्रिकेट फैन बाय द नेम ऑफ सीतू मोहंती एंड हिज फादर प्रताप कुमार मोहंती फ्रॉम ओडिशा हैव सेंट इन अ क्वेश्चन दैट दे हैव बीन फॉलोइंग आवर शो, थैंक यू, एंड दे वुड लाइक टू नो which team is better at handling high pressure. Particularly for today's game, he's saying that my favorite will be Owen Morgan, and this will be a big test for Virat Kohli. Let me know which team is the one that can handle a pressure situation like today's better between the two teams.
See, when you talk about Owen Morgan, Mr. Mohanty, firstly, thank you for being so kind enough with your words. Morgan won the World Cup, if I'm not wrong, and that match was a pressure match to another level. And if you remember, England was fielding and New Zealand was batting in the middle, and that is enough testimony to the fact that Morgan may have handled pressure, but he was a little lucky as well. Not much separates two captains, two sides when it comes to pressure handling in such matches. But I strongly believe Morgan has been a very, very good leader. But in this particular edition of the Indian T20 League, Mr. Monty, as a batsman captain, I don't think so. He may have done the job. And I feel as a captain, you need to perform that. That automatically absorbs a lot of pressure from your team as well when the captain is performing. For that matter, Kohli also may have struggled, but I just feel Kohli has still had a better measure of things. Very recently, one of the former cricketers made a comment stating that Morgan is more of he's hardly a captain because everything the video analyst decides for the team. I really don't want to get into these numbers. I don't want to get into comparisons. But I just feel even though Morgan has done a great job with England in the past and continues to do so, in this particular Indian T20 League, I just feel as a batsman he's fallen short, which I feel is very important. And there's no better time, Mr. Monty, that he comes good with a bat over here because he comes in at a phase when the situation is always pressure. But if he can get some quick runs and take his team through, this will be a real test for him.
I hope that answers their question. Thank you for all the support. We'll just take one more question, Mikhail. This is Bhushan Suryavanshi, and he says, is this going to be finally Kohli's season as a captain where he wins the Indian T20 League trophy?
See, I'll tell you one thing. I am of a strong belief that this Indian T20 League is going to Virat Kohli because it's high time the man he deserves to win and he has to win it because this is firstly he's been there with Bangalore since 2008. He's been captaining for a good close to a decade now. It's high time one trophy goes to Bangalore and under Kohli as well. So I just feel this is Kohli's moment, and also he has a team who is performing and responding. Initially, it used to be a De Villiers, Kohli versus the rest of the IPL teams. This time, we can safely say Bangalore as a unit is playing the Indian T20 League, and it's not 2-3 individuals going out there. And if you look at Bangalore's wins, most of them have come not because of De Villiers or Kohli's contribution.
Right.
It has come because of everybody else's. So this is a very good sign. This is a good indication that Bangalore may have just found that winning 11 to win the Indian T20 League 2021.
Wonderful. I hope that answers Bhushan, that answers your question completely. And moving forward, let's quickly take a look at the players we can watch out for in this big game. We have Kohli right there. This is a name that Deep may have not included in his fantasy 11, but no one can ignore this big name. And with 735 runs in just 25 innings, an average of 36.8, a strike rate of 129.6, this man has always proved that no matter how much he scores, he can keep coming back and double those scores because he's that good with the bat. Mikhail, your views on this legendary batsman today?
See, I honestly would also recommend most of it's a big match. It's eliminator, and it is Virat Kohli. Virat Kohli is a big match player. अगर आपको अपनी MPL fantasy team बनानी है, तो Kohli will not be a bad idea. देखिए under the lens में हम लोगों ने ऐसे statistics आपके लिए डाले कोलकाता के against कि मैं बताना चाह रहा हूँ कि it's not Bangalore versus Kolkata today. इट कैन बी कोहली वर्सेस कोलकाता, के वर्सेस के। तो एक अच्छा सा मौका है, आप प्लेयर्स दिस स्टैटिस्टिक्स में हम आपको फिर से स्क्रीन में दिखाने वाले कोहली के स्टैटिस्टिक्स वर्सेस कोलकाता। Look at that, strike rate is decent, 130. I still feel for a top order it's amazing. Runs देखिए, एवरेज देखिए कोलकाता और 450, 50 थोड़े कम हो गए मेरे को लगता है 25 इनिंग्स में और हो सकते थे कोहली के लिए, लाइक बट वॉच आउट, बिग मैच प्लेयर कोहली, ही विल नॉट मिस आउट ऑन बिग अपॉर्चुनिटीज। ये एक अच्छा मौका है कोहली के लिए, और आपको अपनी फैंटेसी टीम में अंडर द लेंस की ये एक प्रोफाइल जो हमने बनाई है एमपीएल की अगेंस्ट कोलकाता फॉर कोहली, कीप इट इनटू कंसिडरेशन, और आप अपनी टीम में विराट कोहली को डाल सकते हो।
Bilkul, as they say, big players rise with the big matches, and here's another big player, AB de Villiers, with 20 innings of massive 511 runs, an average of 36.5, a phenomenal strike rate of 155.8. He is surely one to watch out for, particularly in today's game, because we have all been waiting for AB de Villiers to start firing like he usually does, and today could very well be his game. Let's take a look at our third player to watch out for. It's the big man. It's Sunil Narayan, and he is the mystery spinner that he is. He's had 7 innings. He's also done so well with the bat for them, with 194 runs, a strike rate massive of 200. It's more than AB de Villiers, this strike rate, which is great to watch out for someone who also does so well with the ball, and 250s and 16 wickets. Definitely someone you have to include in your fantasy 11. So all those viewers who are joining us, don't miss out on these three big names in your fantasy 11 teams. Go on the MPL app and add them right away. Mikhail, any of your final thoughts on the game that is about to begin?
देखिए, ये कोहली और बैंगलोर के लिए सबसे अच्छा सीजन और मौका है द इंडियन T20 लीग खिताब जीतने के लिए। कोहली, एबी डिविलियर्स आर बिग मैच प्लेयर्स। एमपीएल में अगर आपको एक टीम बनानी है तो इन प्लेयर को हमेशा अपने जहन में रखिएगा, क्योंकि इनको जब फॉर्म स्ट्राइक करना हो तो ये बता के नहीं आते, बस आके दे ब्लो अवे द ऑपोजिशन। One is that Kolkata has really fought hard to come back where they are to eliminate Mumbai as well. One night was looking as if Mumbai would go ahead. Kolkata is right now on a high, that's why it's called resurgent. At the moment, it is Jay versus Viru contest जो मैं बताना चाहूँगा आपको बीच में. It's very difficult to pick a winner. Performing players from both the sides, it again boils down to the old cliche of cricket. The team that plays well on the given day will go ahead. देखिए, मेरा दिल थोड़ा बैंगलोर के साथ है क्योंकि कोहली है, बैंगलोर डिजर्व्स अ ट्रॉफी, लेकिन कोलकाता हैज प्लेड एक्सेप्शनल क्रिकेट। मैं यही बताना चाहूंगा, जब आप एमपीएल टीम बनाने जा रहे हो, जब हम फिर से आपको याद दिला देंगे, आपके लिए एक मौका है मैच स्टार्ट होने से पहले एक अच्छा सा प्लेइंग 11 बनाने के लिए, और 10 करोड़ तक आप जीत सकते हो एमपीएल के प्लेटफॉर्म में जब आप एमपीएल फैंटेसी टीम बना पाओगे। इतना ही कहना चाहूंगा कि दिल से नहीं दिमाग से लीजिए, एंड लेट्स होप द बेस्ट टीम विन। सार्थक, यू वांट टू ले अ बेट विद मी, कौन जीत रहा है आज? आई विल गो विद बैंगलोर।
I wanted to say Bangalore, so I think both of us are going with Bangalore. So here's our pick for all our viewers. We're going with Bangalore. Make your teams fast. We have very little time left for the match to start, and we'll be joining you very soon. Like we joined you today, we have 2 games left in this season. Today is the Eliminator. Just 2 more to go. Keep tuning in with us. We'll see you soon. That's all we have for you today. Good night. Goodbye. This is Mikhail and Sarthak signing off.